Welcome, library aides. Today's lesson is going to be about book repairs. This workroom is where we repair our books. Books that need repairs are placed here in one of two baskets on top of the green bookshelf. You don't want to put repair books on the shelves if they're just in for physical repairs. We'll take a look at these shelves later and what we use them for. Now, when students return a book in really bad shape, you need to remember to check it in first. Don't just put it in the book hospital. It's got to be checked in. Also, go to copy status if you're going to put it in the book hospital. When you go to copy status, you're going to scan or type in your barcode, and then it will bring that book up, and you go to edit copy right here at the top. Click on that, and again it'll be at the top where it says available. You click on status. Go down and choose out for repairs, and this will mark it in the book hospital. Now you can save the copy, or if you think it's going to be in the book hospital for a really long time before you save the copy, you can change the sublocation of book hospital, but we only do that if we think it's going to be in for repairs for a long time. Now once you've returned the book and marked it out for repairs, put a post-it note on the book explaining what the problem is, and place it in one of the book hospital baskets. It's important to make your written instructions easy to understand. Book repair instructions may say lots of different things. It might say needs a book number 6 sticker. It might say needs a green dot sticker. Spine repair means that the spine is coming apart. Now, even after you've worked to repair a book, please leave the sticky note on the book and set it above kitchen supplies in the workroom. Before it's really crowded with books in the middle of the year, you'll see a sign that reminds you that the librarian has to check all book repairs before books are allowed to go into circulation. So let's start with the easiest book repair of all. I think that's how to tape a barcode. Kids get pretty quick at this. As you probably know, this is called a barcode. It includes that number. All barcodes must have tape over them. Now, I made a mistake when I did this one. You'll notice I just taped the sticky note to the book. Kids do this all the time in the book hospital. It's one of the most common mistakes they make. A lot of times you can just peel it back like I did and then set your sticky note over. You need to give your barcode tape an extra inch over the top, because what you do then is you open up the cover and you flip that extra inch of tape inside. This tape had to be redone. Can you guess why? Take a look at where my fingers are. That's right, the tape kept popping up. It didn't have that extra inch that it was supposed to have, and also the post-it note was taped too, which happens. Repaired books go here with sticky notes on them. Now, we go through a lot of book tape, as you can imagine. So you'll need to know how to replace the tape inside these dispensers. It's easier than you might think. You'll find the book tape in the chicken cupboard. It's got a chicken on it. And watch for these little red boxes. They have our tape inside of them. Now, it's a good idea to have one size tape in one dispenser and another size tape in a different dispenser. When you first get the tape going, you need to make sure that the sticky side is down, and you're going to put it under those rollers. You can see me telling someone to put it under the rollers. The black plastic dividers can be moved if you need to fit a different size tape in there. Okay, you stick the tape onto the cutting edge, and then you're done. It's that simple. The dispenser uses a spring, but don't be afraid of that sound it makes. This is called a spine label. When we tape a spine label, you have to tape all the way around it on both sides of the spine. So you want at least an inch on both sides of the spine. All spine stickers must be thoroughly taped. And if you place spine labels on a spine, if you put that label on there, people need to be able to read the label easily. For skinny books, if the first 2 letters are showing, that's probably enough. But if your spine labels aren't readable on a shelf, I'm not being mean, but the librarian will have you retype those spine labels and retape them. So be prepared, redos happen. Try not to take it personally. Repairs and redos are really just part of the library aid job. Now, sometimes a book has a mistake in the computer, and you may discover these. This one can't be marked out for repairs because the book isn't actually in the computer, but if it is possible, mark these books out for repairs, explain the problem on a post-it note, and then place it on the computer errors bookshelf. The librarian will repair most of the computer errors herself. Now, paperback books often get torn covers like you see here. When this happens, we add cardstock to the covers. Cardstock is found in the weeded books cupboard, and it's kind of like construction paper but a little bit heavier. Now notice this library aid has taken a ruler out of the craft cupboard, and he's going to use that ruler and a black Sharpie to mark the cardstock. A lot of library aids prefer pencil, but you can actually see black Sharpie on black cardstock. So he uses the ruler to make sure he has a straight edge where the book cover used to go on both the side and then the bottom of it. Now he cuts it out following the lines that he has made so that he is kind of creating a sturdier backing to the cover. Cover art is important to students, so we want to make sure we put it on the inside, not the outside of that book's cover. And again, make sure you remove those sticky notes. Now notice he's pulling the book tape down and measuring it before cutting it to see if it's exactly the right size for that book. But he has about an inch overhanging, and he's going to flip that over to make sure that he tapes that cardstock inside. And here he is moving the sticky note again so he doesn't accidentally tape a sticky note. And you will, but that's okay. Just let it happen. It sometimes happens. Now notice he got a little too much tape. If there's a little too much tape, students will pick at that until they remove it. So you want to make sure you cut away any extra tape. Okay, now he's putting the tape down the top of that book cover. And again, he's got that extra inch that flips inside. And the same with the bottom. He moves his sticky note. You shouldn't put it in the trash though. It needs to stay with the book. And he flips that one over inside to secure the cardstock. Okay, now he noticed while he was working that the back cover was looking kind of shabby too. Usually, I'll put a sticky note that says front and back covers, but if I miss it and you notice that the back cover needs some too, do exactly what this library aid did and do the back cover with cardstock as well. Now, what are we going to do with these extra bits of cardstock? Can you guess? Do you have an idea what these are going to be used for? That's right. We add these to the free bookmarks basket. This book's note says it needs spine repair. When you open it up, it looks like this. There's a big gap right down the middle. Rubber cement is used to repair broken spines. Rubber cement is found in the craft cupboard, and you'll take globs of it and put right down the middle. It takes quite a bit of rubber cement. You'll see he reapplies and reapplies until he feels he has enough. And it doesn't dry very quickly, so you have a lot of time to work with it. It doesn't start drying right away. Notice he's also redoing the pages. So see how the pages are stuck together? He's redoing it on both sides because they start to come out when the spine is damaged. Taping its pages helps hold the spine together as well. So he's going to push the spine back together, and he's going to put a little bit of temporary book tape on the top and bottom. So he puts a little bit right here on the top, and then he pushes that spine together, and thump, he adds the tape to hold it in place, just like that. Now he takes a little bit for the bottom, and again he's going to keep pushing that spine back together and adding tape. And then one last piece of tape will go right down the middle to secure it, and he measures as he goes to make sure that it fits just right. He slides the bar across, and then he presses the spine. So we're not quite done. We need to talk about the book presses next. This is a book press. You'll put your book that has spine repairs in the book press and expect it to take about a week for that rubber cement to dry. Push it really hard against that backboard and then press down the top piece and screw it down until it's really tight against the book. It's important that it be up against that backboard really securely, just like you see here. And that's going to help solidify it. The spine is pressed up against the backboard as tight as you can go. It's possible to press multiple books at once. Just make sure the spines are all pressed flat. We also have a smaller book press too. But only very thin books will fit in this smaller book press. When you're ready to take them out, you need to check each book first to make sure that the spine repair is dry and truly solidified. But what if you have lots of spine repairs and all the book presses are full? And this can happen especially toward the end of the school year. Clamps are found in the cupboard called boxes and baskets. And although they don't work as well as a book press, they are a handy substitute.
So Kyle, what do you think of the clamps?
They are good when these get full.
Okay, but you think this kind works better?
Yes.
Okay, definitely this kind. And you have to make sure you shove it in there so the back is tight against it,
And make
right?
sure you get this down really tight too.
Really tight.
Just try to twist it.
As tight as you can get it. Okay, thanks.
When it's just pages that are coming out of a book, not a spine repair, pay attention to the page numbers. Any books that are missing pages, they will need to be removed from the computer and placed in the trash. But this isn't something library aides do. Only the librarian gets to delete books and throw them away. So set them on the computer error books shelf with a note instead of throwing them away, please. But before giving up on the book, look to see if the page might be available in our Frankenbooks. Frankenbooks have been deleted, and they're used to provide needed pages for popular books. So you can actually slide a page in if we have the book in our Frankenbooks. Just make sure page 173, 174 are right before 175 before you tape them in. Now, again, don't throw any books in the garbage. That's only for the librarian to do after she has checked to see if there are any repairs that can be done. Sometimes you only need to tape the pages back in. Maybe they're not missing any pages, they just need to be taped. Tape them as close to the spine as possible. But occasionally, even after taping them in really close to the spine, the pages will hang over the edge in an odd way. These pages are taped really close to the center of the book, but they still hang over the edge of the book, and this can actually damage the pages. You can trim away these extra edges with scissors, but be careful not to cut important words or pictures. So this is what you don't want to do. Don't just take a wad of pages and start cutting. Instead, cut one page at a time to make sure that you don't trim off the pictures. Next, we'll learn how to permabind our books. Sometimes your Post-it note will say this needs permabind. Okay, so take a look at what this young man is doing. He's a librarian and he's really experienced at permabind. He's done a lot of these. What we're trying to do is extend the life of the paper flap jacket or dust jacket by adding a laminated cover to it. And he's doing the finishing touches on this laminated cover. Permabind film is found in one of the cupboards. You'll see it right there. It comes on a big roll in a box, kind of like tin foil or aluminum foil. Remove the sticky note so you don't stick it to the book. We've all done that. Now don't panic. I'll slow the video down and give you a step-by-step set of directions so you really know what to do. And you might want to take notes on this next section. Step 1, remove the Post-it note. Step 2, measure and cut laminate film to fit your book. Step 3, remove the paper backing. Step 4, place the book spine down in the center. Step 5, trim away laminate from the top and bottom of the spine. Step 6, slide the book across the counter to seal the front cover. Then clip the front cover's corners. Press the flaps inside the front cover, slide the book's back cover against the counter, and clip these corners. Press the flaps inside the back cover. Okay, now watch the whole thing again, even more slowly. Really making note of how each step is done. You can always go back and take notes again. I'm sure it went very fast. You can pause the video and take notes. Now notice sliding the book across the counter helps get air bubbles out of the laminate. So you'll see him doing that a lot. The best library aides at permabinds, they use the counter like this to kind of like clean those bubbles out. See right here, apply some pressure when you slide it across the counter like that. And then he trims away those corners so they're out of the way and looking nice. And then he finishes it up with just turning those flaps in. Even experienced library aides end up with some wrinkles and bubbles. And like I said, this particular library aide was very good at this, but he still got like 3 bubbles in there. Don't expect your first permabind to look this good. Most of us, even I, the librarian, have much worse looking permabinds. Use scissors to trim away any extra bits of plastic. And don't forget to return the Post-it note to the book and put it over where books go. Before we're done, I want to tell you that book repairs are meant to extend the book's shelf life. That's all it's for. No book is going to last forever. And no book repairs are going to look perfect. Most of them don't, and that's okay. But if your book repairs give a book an extra year or 2 or 3 on our bookshelves, then you've done a good job. So be brave. Help out in the book hospital.